president of the NAACP. I don't have to think about it. That was the greatest introduction I've ever had. Thank you. And, you know, this is emotional for me because 4 years ago, looking around, we had our pollsters. They came in and they gave me this report. And they said, you're in really good shape with one exception. He says, there's one candidate out there that is so popular, if he gets in the race, it is going to be one log dogfight. I said, who's that? And they said, Sheriff Benny Napoleon. Just pray he doesn't get the race. And it was a tough campaign that went on for a year. And the sheriff's right. We've been friends for a long time. I supported him everything he's ever done in his life. And so when I pulled up this morning, and I came inside, and I saw Benny Napoleon standing there, I said, this is going to be a good day. Thank you. And thank you to my family, my wife Lori, my children who are here, my brothers, nieces, nephews, and I know this is a big day because my parents, Pat and Joan, came back from Florida, so. Thank you to everybody who spoke here today, but the difference in this room isn't just the size of the crowd. It's the feeling in the city of Detroit, isn't it? Doesn't it feel different? You remember what it was like with the mayor fighting with the council, the mayor fighting with the unions, the mayor fighting with Lansing, and even as we slid toward emergency management and bankruptcy, the bickering didn't stop. And today, everything that you see in progress is the result of partnership, starting with our outstanding city council, President Brenda Jones, and those council members who are working together for this city. The other thing that's different, and you heard from some of them today, the union leadership is working with us, including the city workers. And it wasn't always proud. People weren't always proud to be city workers. But I got a chance to see how dramatically things have changed. The night of January 13th, at 1:30 in the morning, a fire broke out at the Shoemaker Garage, right behind us here, right next door, at the bus garage. Caught an engine in a bus, caught fire, and started to spread through the terminal. There were 80 buses lined up, and the fire started to spread from one bus to another. The Detroit Fire Department was there in 2 minutes and immediately came in, started to put hoses on the flames, but the fire had gotten so big that it wasn't going to be put out anytime soon. And the workers at DDOT, seeing what happened, the drivers, the mechanics, in the middle of the fire, started jumping in the buses because they could see we were going to lose the whole fleet. And in the fire and the smoke started driving them out of the terminal. And the firefighters turned their hoses on the buses they were driving to wet them down, to make them safe as they pulled out. They rescued 75 buses. They had them on the street, they had them at the fringes, they had them everywhere to save them. And about 5 in the morning, the fire blazed for almost 24 hours. 5 in the morning shift drivers started to show up. And they pulled up in the freezing cold and saw the fire at the terminal. They walked in and they said, where do I go? And the leadership said, there's your bus. There's your bus. They tried to spray the smoke smell off them. They put the buses on the road, and DDOT made full pullout that morning in the city of Detroit. You go back a few years with the number of buses and drivers we had, we couldn't make full pullout on a sunny day in June. And as I was talking to one of the workers there that day, I said, what was it like? And he said, I was watching the firefighters spraying the hoses on the buses and all the employees chipping in and driving through. And he said, today, I am damn proud to be a City of Detroit employee. So what we've done together. And I'd like to continue that. So today I'm announcing I am going to run for re-election in 2017. There are petitions out in the hallway, and please sign them because I'm going to file correctly this time and not do that right at them. But this is going to be a different kind of a campaign. This isn't going to be a victory lap campaign. It's just not the kind of person I am, because many of the things that we're celebrating are things that wouldn't even be celebrated in other cities. I still, once a week, do a house party in somebody's living room or basement to hear what people are saying. And people say, thank you for the garbage being picked up. Thank you that you cut the grass in the parks. Thank you for the street lights that are being on. And I always have mixed feelings. We have to thank somebody for the lights being on. In other cities, that's expected, right? Nobody calls you from Chicago and says, it's a great day today, my street light came on, right? We need to get to the point in Detroit where we expect those things. That's when we're going to be a great city. And so, yes, the police and ambulance response times have been cut almost in half. The grass is cut in the parks, all 65,000 streetlights are on, the garbage is picked up on time, the buses are running on schedule, pretty much, and the city of Detroit has a balanced budget. I don't want to diminish the huge efforts by the city employees, many of whom gave up a lot in bankruptcy to accomplish that. But we're going to now talk about, in this campaign, what we haven't done. Because that's what this campaign should be about. I shouldn't be running again unless there are things left to do, and we've got a lot left to do. And I'm going to tell you, in the next 4 years, we are going to change our focus, and now that we've got the services going reasonably well, we're going to work every day to create a city that people want to raise their families in. We are going to build this into a great city for raising families in. So, we've done a good job of getting businesses to come back. The unemployment rate has been cut in half. We've done a good job of creating a city where the young people want to come back and be, and that is a great thing, and we welcome them. We've got to make it a great city where people say, I just had a couple of kids. I want to look at houses in the city of Detroit because that's where I want to raise my family. And so, these are the things we're going to talk about on this campaign. And there will be opposition. There will be opposition that will basically say that people have left the city of Detroit for 60 years. Businesses and individuals have moved out, and we haven't fixed it all in 3 years. And I know that we haven't. But in this debate, we've got to talk about what's next. And if we're going to build quality of life for families, we've got to get the public safety a lot better. We've got to get opportunities for our young people. And we've got to get quality public schools. So, on the public safety side, we have a great police chief and a great police department led by James Craig. But the violence in the city remains much too high, and we are going to go after it on a lot of different fronts. I was a little bit encouraged this week, the last 2 days actually. Thursday afternoon, we did an announcement at a grocery store that was the 100th green light business partner in the city of Detroit. Businesses across the city are partnering with us with high-definition cameras and lights that are being monitored real-time in police headquarters. We're seeing the crime at those stations go down, and across the city, carjackings were down 30% last year. We're making some progress. But we need to spread that to hundreds of locations, and I'm really proud of the fact we're hearing more and more stories. People feel in danger. They go to a green light station and call 911 because they know that green light station is a zone of safety. We're going to build hundreds more of those zones of safety. That was Thursday afternoon. Then Friday morning, I got to go to the graduation of Police Academy class. 29 new police officers sworn in and on the streets of the city of Detroit. We're now graduating 30 a month. We have 200 police officers in the academy today. And we're going to continue real opportunity. And that's why last summer, I just want to thank everybody who participated. 8,000 young people got their summer job through the city's Grow Detroit Young Talent Program. And not a week goes by, I don't run into one of those companies who said, we had a young man who had graduated from high school, a young woman graduated from high school, and they were so good in the summer, we gave them a permanent job, which is the way it's supposed to work in the summer job program. We became the first large city in America to guarantee 100% of our high school graduates will have 2 years of community college paid for through the Detroit Promise. And it was our partnership with the Greater Detroit Chamber of Commerce, with much of the business community, and interestingly, Governor Snyder, who helped raise the money for that effort. And now we're expanding the Detroit Promise to 4-year universities. So this year, if you graduate with a 3.0 and a 21 ACT, your tuition is guaranteed to a 4-year public university. So 600 young people started college this fall on the Detroit Promise, and we're saying you might be 12 years, 13, 14 years old, and think college is out of reach for you. If you graduate from a school in the city of Detroit, your college is guaranteed. But of course, it doesn't do any good if we aren't providing quality public school education. And I want to say this today, and the new president of the Detroit School Board, Iris Taylor, is here. And I want you to know that I will be working hand in hand with the newly elected school board and the interim superintendent, Alicia Merriweather, and we are going to fight the irrational closing of these Detroit public schools. This is not right. From the time Jennifer Granholm 8 years ago removed the elected school board and appointed the emergency manager, Robert Bob, for 8 straight years, the Detroit Public Schools have been basically run by accountants. And in that time, we've lost half our enrollment, the achievement has declined, and finally, January 1st, we said that a new school board, a quality elected group, we actually have a superintendent who's an educator. We're about to get a fresh start. We need to get behind the leadership of the school board, right? And 2 weeks after they take office, the State School Reform Office sends a memo that 24 schools are failing and are in danger of closing. Now, what they're measuring is the time it was run by the emergency manager. The State School Reform Office has been in place since 2010. Have you heard any reform up until now? Okay, they were nowhere to be found, but now after 2 weeks, they're showing up. And I'm talking to parents across the city who are saying, what do I do? And make no mistake, we got serious work to do in the schools. We know how much improvement we have to make. We're not saying the conditions are acceptable. What we're saying is this. Reform means first, you work with the teachers in the school to raise the performance at that school. And then second, you don't close the school until you've created a quality alternative. Neither one of those has happened here. And if you saw this, they sent out letters to more than 10,000 children and their parents who were affected. And they said, basically, we have good news. You have an opportunity to go to a better performing school. And so I said, well, this is great. Let me see where the high performing schools they go to. Well, we know the story in the city of Detroit. The high performing schools are already at capacity. And in most cases, the adjoining school wasn't doing any better. And you know what the memo said where they could go? You could go to Flat Rock, which if you don't know where that is, about halfway to Toledo. You can go to Oxford, Michigan, which is most of the way toward Flint. You could go to Anchor Bay. I'm not making this up. This is the letter they sent to the 10,000 schools. You could go to the Anchor Bay School District. Now, I have to admit, In that case, they need to get on a map. I actually didn't know where Anchor Bay was. Turns out it's about 45 minutes northeast up near Lake Huron. And so you're a parent, and you get this letter, and you say, we're the school reform office to improve your children's education. And I'm saying, I think it's good to be motivated. Let's develop alternatives. It's what we proposed last year with the Detroit Education Commission. We'll develop quality alternatives. But you do not close down these schools until these children have a quality place to go. You don't throw people out of the boat without looking down and see there's a life raft. And that's what they've done. So on Friday, I called Governor Snyder, and I said, this is wrong. And I'm not looking to have this be adversarial. I reminded the governor how hard he worked to raise the money for the Detroit Promise. I said, Governor, what the school reform office is doing is immoral, it's reckless, it's illegal. You have to step in. And it can't be a 3-month study because people are out looking for other houses in other communities right now because they're scared. We need to make a statement right away to say we know there's going to be change, but school is going to be shut down if there's not an available quality alternative. And I will be working with the school board and with Superintendent Mary Webb to pursue these alternatives, and I'm hoping that we will get a quick change in direction. And if we don't, we'll do what we need to in the courts, because you cannot take away people's right to an education and tell them move to Anchor Bay. So today I want the people of the city who are worried and thinking they may have to move to find a quality school, I'm telling you, your elected officials are going to stand shoulder to shoulder. We're going to solve this. We're going to derail this mass closure, the Detroit Public Schools shut down, and we're going to work to get real quality education choices in the city of Detroit. Because that's the only way we'll ever fulfill our promise that every neighborhood has a future. So we got about 10 months of hard work to do. We know the opposition's coming. We know what the opposition's message is, and we are going to be ready. You ready to go hit the doors? All right. Thank you all very much for your support.